The night you almost gave up was not the night heaven abandoned you. It was the night heaven began writing a new chapter over your destiny. While you were lying awake in silence, carrying burdens nobody understood, questioning why life had become so heavy, God was watching every hidden battle you survived without applause. People often celebrate visible victories, but heaven celebrates endurance in secret places. Heaven notices the soul that keeps praying while exhausted, the heart that keeps loving after betrayal, and the spirit that keeps standing after endless disappointments. That is why this message has reached you today, not because life suddenly became easy, not because every prayer has already been answered, but because God has seen your perseverance. He has seen the tears you wiped away before facing the world again. He has seen the nights when anxiety sat beside your bed while you still whispered, "Lord, I trust you." Chosen one, this has truly been your season. You have performed well in spiritual battles nobody could see, and now God is releasing your miracle in ways that will restore your faith, renew your strength, and remind you that your suffering was never meaningless. Some of you listening have mastered the art of hiding pain behind a smile. You encourage everybody around you while secretly wondering when your own breakthrough will arrive. You pray for others, support others, and lift others up. Yet deep inside you sometimes ask, "God, when will it finally be my turn?" But heaven is saying today, "I saw every silent sacrifice you made." God saw the moments you cried alone because you did not want people to see your weakness. He saw the times you felt emotionally empty, yet still showed kindness to people who never appreciated your heart. He saw you trying to remain faithful while your mind was full of fear and uncertainty. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not give up." Notice that the scripture does not say immediately. It says in due season. That means heaven works according to divine timing, not human impatience. And many of you have mistaken delay for rejection, when in reality God was preparing the exact moment your breakthrough would carry the greatest impact. Your due season is no longer far away. Heaven has heard your cries and God is responding to your faithfulness. The enemy tried to convince you that your waiting season was proof that God had forgotten you. But chosen one, delay is not denial when God is involved. Sometimes heaven allows long seasons of waiting because your spirit must become strong enough to carry the blessing you are praying for. If certain doors had opened too early, you would have entered them without wisdom, discernment, or emotional maturity, and what should have blessed you could have destroyed you instead. So God used the waiting room as a classroom. He used loneliness to teach you dependence on Him. He used disappointment to teach you discernment. He used silence to strengthen your faith beyond emotions. The painful truth is that many people want elevation without preparation, but God loves you too much to allow premature success to ruin your destiny. That is why your journey has looked different from other people's journeys. Heaven was not punishing you, heaven was shaping you. Every delay carried a hidden lesson, every closed door protected you from something your eyes could not yet see, and one day you will look back and thank God for the prayers He did not answer immediately. There are storms that come into a person's life to destroy them, but there are also storms that reveal who truly trusts God when everything else falls apart. And look at you, chosen one. You survived storms that should have broken your spirit completely. You survived betrayal from people you trusted deeply. You survived rejection from people who once promised to stay forever. You survived seasons where you felt emotionally exhausted, mentally drained, and spiritually attacked from every direction. There were moments when nobody checked on you, moments when you felt invisible, moments when you questioned your own worth because life became unbearably heavy. Yet somehow, despite all the pressure, your spirit did not completely collapse. Why? Because Isaiah 43:2 was speaking over your life even when you could not feel God's presence. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Notice that God never promised you would avoid the waters. He promised you would not drown in them. The fire came, but it could not consume you. The battle came, but it could not destroy you. The enemy underestimated the strength God placed inside your spirit. Chosen one, hear this deeply in your heart today. Your value was never determined by how people treated you. Some people walked away because they were never assigned to your future. Others mocked your process because they only understand visible success, not spiritual preparation. But God has always specialized in choosing overlooked people for extraordinary purposes. David was forgotten in the field, while his brothers stood confidently before the prophet. Yet God chose the shepherd nobody respected. Joseph was rejected by his own family before becoming a ruler. Moses felt unqualified before leading a nation. Gideon saw himself as weak before becoming a mighty warrior. Your hidden season was never humiliation, it was training. While people ignored you, heaven was developing wisdom inside you. While others underestimated you, God was strengthening your character. And many times isolation was actually divine protection. Because if certain people had remained close to you, they would have distracted you from your assignment. God removed what could not grow with your destiny. Many people think miracles always arrive in dramatic ways, but some miracles begin quietly inside the soul. Sometimes a miracle starts as renewed strength after months of depression. Sometimes it begins as peace returning after years of anxiety. Sometimes it begins as clarity after confusion nearly destroyed your mind. And today, God is releasing a miracle into your spirit before it becomes visible in your physical circumstances. Heaven is restoring your confidence, your hope, your joy, and your ability to dream again. The enemy wanted your suffering to make you bitter, fearful, and spiritually numb. But instead, your suffering pushed you closer to God. What was supposed to destroy your faith actually deepened your relationship with heaven. And now you're entering a season where your spirit will no longer live in constant fear. God is teaching you how to stand with authority even before every prayer is answered, because true faith is not waiting until everything changes before believing. True faith believes while the storm is still raging. The reason the battle became so intense is because darkness sensed what heaven was preparing for your life. The enemy does not waste energy attacking empty destinies. The resistance increased because your breakthrough was near. The confusion intensified because clarity was approaching. The spiritual warfare became heavier because God was preparing to elevate you beyond the place where your enemies expected you to remain. Some of you wondered why everything suddenly became difficult at once. Relationships became unstable, finances became uncertain, your emotions became heavy, and your mind became overwhelmed. But often before God shifts a person into a higher season, there is intense pressure designed to make them quit prematurely. The enemy wanted exhaustion to silence your prayers. He wanted disappointment to destroy your expectations. He wanted fear to convince you that nothing good was coming. But what the enemy meant for evil, God is transforming into testimony. Your pain is becoming wisdom. Your scars are becoming proof of survival, and your struggle is becoming the foundation of someone else's future healing. Some of you have asked God painful questions in private. Why did I have to suffer this much? Why did people betray me? Why did life become so difficult when I was trying to do the right thing? But pain can become a classroom when God is involved. Your suffering taught you lessons comfort could never teach. It taught you discernment so you no longer trust blindly. It taught you compassion for hurting people because now you understand hidden pain. It taught you how temporary human approval really is. Most importantly, it taught you how to depend on God instead of depending entirely on people. Romans 8:28 says that all things work together for good to those who love God. That means even your heartbreaks are being transformed into wisdom for your future. Even your delays are shaping your destiny. Even your tears are watering the ground where your future blessings will grow. Nothing you suffered was wasted. Heaven will use every painful chapter to strengthen your purpose. This season was never about perfection. God was not searching for flawless people because flawless people do not exist. He was searching for willing hearts that would continue seeking Him despite weakness and failure. You kept praying even when you felt spiritually tired. You kept trying even after repeated disappointment. You kept believing after heartbreak. You kept showing kindness while carrying wounds nobody knew about. And heaven honors persistence. The world often celebrates talent, beauty, fame, and status, but God watches the hidden process nobody else notices. He sees the person fighting silent battles with courage. He sees the person who refuses to become bitter despite suffering. He sees the individual who continues standing after life knocks them down repeatedly. That is why you must stop disqualifying yourself because of your imperfections. God already knew your flaws before calling you. Your weakness does not scare heaven, in fact. Many times God reveals His greatest strength through broken people willing to trust Him completely. There are blessings coming into your life that will confuse people who doubted you. God is about to restore opportunities you thought were permanently lost. He is opening doors no human being can shut. Psalm 75:6-7 says promotion does not come from the east or west, but from God. When heaven decides it is your season, nobody can stop what God has approved. People may try to delay you, criticize you, misunderstand you, or reject you, but they cannot cancel what heaven has already spoken over your destiny. Some blessings will arrive suddenly after years of waiting. Some prayers you nearly stopped praying are about to receive answers. Some relationships will be restored, while other unhealthy attachments will finally lose power over your life. But more importantly, God is preparing you emotionally and spiritually so that when your breakthrough arrives, you will have the wisdom to handle it properly. Because blessings without wisdom can become burdens. But listen carefully, chosen one. Your miracle is not only about money, opportunities, or visible success. Yes, some people will experience financial breakthroughs, some will receive healing, some will witness family restoration or long-awaited answers to prayer. But one of the greatest miracles God can give a person is spiritual transformation, because when your spirit becomes stronger, you stop depending on external circumstances to determine your peace. You stop allowing rejection to define your worth. You stop allowing fear to control your decisions. You begin walking with authority, wisdom, and confidence because your identity becomes rooted in God instead of human approval. Heaven is not just trying to change your situation, heaven is changing you. And when God transforms the inside of a person, the outside eventually follows. God is teaching you that obedience matters more than popularity. In a generation obsessed with attention and validation, heaven is searching for faithfulness. The reason your process has often felt lonely is because God was separating you from distractions that could have destroyed your assignment. Not everybody connected to you was meant to travel into your next season. Some people only knew the broken version of you and would have kept you trapped in old patterns. Others were attached to your pain, not your growth. That is why certain relationships ended painfully. It was not always punishment, sometimes it was protection. God knew where He was taking you required a different mindset, deeper wisdom, and stronger spiritual discipline. And though separation hurt, it created room for healing, growth, and clarity. You have cried enough over people who never appreciated your heart. You have spent too much time questioning your worth because of rejection. But today God is restoring your identity. You are not forgotten. You are not behind in life. You are not cursed. You are growing according to divine timing. A tree does not apologize because it blooms later than another tree. In the same way, your destiny is unfolding according to heaven's schedule, not society's pressure. Comparison has stolen peace from many people because they keep measuring their lives against what others display publicly. But social media cannot reveal the hidden battles people are fighting. Some people appear successful while secretly feeling empty inside. God is more interested in building a healthy soul than creating a temporary image. And when your season fully blossoms, it will carry depth, wisdom, and stability because heaven took time developing your roots. Heaven is teaching you to stop measuring your value through external appearances. The world constantly pressures people to look successful even when they are emotionally exhausted. But God is concerned about the condition of your spirit, because what is the benefit of gaining attention while losing peace? What is the benefit of looking strong publicly while secretly collapsing privately? Your hidden season has been producing authenticity inside you. God has been stripping away false identities, unhealthy dependencies, and emotional masks. He is teaching you how to live from truth instead of performance. And because you allowed Him to shape your character in secret, He can trust you with greater influence in public. Integrity built in hidden places becomes strength during visible seasons. There are moments when God removes everything familiar so you can discover that His presence alone is enough to sustain you. That is why certain seasons felt uncomfortable and uncertain. Heaven was breaking your dependence on temporary things. God wanted you to understand that peace cannot be found only in money, relationships, or achievements. True peace comes from knowing He is with you even in difficult seasons. Some of you lost people you thought you could never survive without, yet somehow God carried you through the heartbreak. Some of you faced financial struggles that humbled you deeply, yet God still provided enough strength to keep moving forward. Through it all, your roots grew deeper. Your faith became more mature, and now you carry a spiritual resilience that did not exist before the storm. Chosen one, your tears were never wasted. Every prayer whispered through exhaustion became a seed planted before heaven. God collects the cries of sincere people. He hears the prayers spoken with trembling faith. And suddenly what looked dead is about to breathe again. The opportunities are returning. The motivation is returning. The joy is returning. The strength you lost during the battle is returning. God is breathing life into dry places within your soul. The enemy wanted you to believe your best days were behind you, but heaven is saying your story is not finished. There are still chapters filled with healing, restoration, purpose, and unexpected favor waiting ahead of you. Do not allow past disappointments to make you fearful of future blessings. One of the enemy's greatest strategies is convincing wounded people to stop expecting good things from God. Pain can create emotional walls that make people afraid to trust again, dream again, or hope again. But faith means believing again even after heartbreak. Abraham waited for promises that seemed impossible. Hannah prayed through years of disappointment. Joseph endured betrayal and imprisonment before seeing restoration. Yet at the appointed time, heaven moved powerfully in their lives. And the same God who remembered them has not forgotten you. Your waiting season is temporary. The chapter is changing. The darkness will not last forever. And when your miracle fully arrives, remain humble before God. Remember the valley when heaven takes you to the mountain. Remember the tears when joy finally fills your life again. The purpose of blessing is not pride, it is impact. God lifts chosen people so they can become light for others trapped in darkness. Your testimony will heal people who are currently losing hope. Your survival will inspire people fighting hidden battles. Your story will remind broken hearts that God still restores lives. Never become so focused on success that you forget the God who carried you through suffering. Gratitude protects the soul from arrogance. So today, lift your head again, chosen one. Stop speaking defeat over your future. Stop calling yourself abandoned when heaven is still writing your story. The same God who carried you through the hardest nights will also guide you into brighter mornings. Your life is not ending in confusion. Your story is not ending in pain. There is still purpose attached to your existence. There is still greatness hidden within your spirit. And even though the process has been painful, this has truly been your season. You performed well in battles nobody applauded. You survived storms that should have destroyed you. And because you remained faithful through hidden warfare, God is now releasing your miracle. Chosen one, the breakthrough may not happen in one dramatic moment, but heaven has already shifted things in your favor. Chains are breaking that you cannot yet see. Fear is losing power over your mind. Divine doors are beginning to open quietly behind the scenes. Peace is entering your spirit again. Wisdom is replacing confusion. Hope is replacing despair. And one day soon you will look back at this painful chapter and realize it was the very place where God transformed you into the person you were always meant to become. The nights of crying were not wasted. The loneliness was not meaningless. The waiting season was not punishment, it was preparation. So stay faithful, stay prayerful, stay humble, stay hopeful, because your season has arrived. And the God who sustained you in private is about to bless you in ways that will leave no doubt that heaven was guiding you all along.